The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 3,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 100 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they're kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Welcome to the February 17th edition of One Nation Radio here. I am your host, Rich Ladden. Of course, I am here with my co-host, James Boyd. It is Michael Jordan's birthday. What's going on, James?
Not too much. Yeah, it is Michael Jordan's birthday. I didn't even think about that all day until you mentioned it. Yeah. Well,
fresh off the All-Star game and Elimination Chamber. This is your Elimination Chamber post-show. Fortunately, I'm not streaming this anywhere, so you guys are all going to have to hear it at the same time, but it's all good. James, what you got going on, man?
not too much. Just finished a good pay-per-view by WWE on a shitty build and short build as well. And saw the end of the All-Star game. I think Cain Velasquez is on right now, or is about to be on, but now I'll get to that when I get to that. But yeah, good Sunday night, man. Good Sunday night.
Yeah, man. Make sure you guys are rating and reviewing us on iTunes, Podbean, wherever you listen to us, and make sure you tell all your friends about the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Make sure you guys check out our friends at Powerslam.tv. The link will be in the annotation. And if you guys are a fan of independent wrestling, they have over 4,000 hours of footage from all around the world. If you use the code Social Suplex, you'll get your free month's trial. Make sure you visit Pro Wrestling Tees, especially Monday through Wednesday. They're having a sale, 20% off. This is the perfect time to get your One Nation Radio t-shirt, as well as all the other t-shirts on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. If you want to support the whole network, we got the Ricky and Clive ones up there, got the Keepin It Strong Styles out there, and of course, make sure you visit our Patreon as well. You'll be able to hear the Sideline segment, which was a riot to record, as well as Goldberg, the Road to 173-0, other various random like shows that are on our $1 tier, which is kind of like our entry level. And if you want to take it up a notch, you'll get that Goldberg series. But make sure you guys are also checking out all the other great shows on the network. Keepin It Strong Style, Wilfred Watches, All Things Elite, the Omega Luke Wrestling Podcast, Grown Men Watch This Shit, and the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. James, we got a lot to get to with Elimination Chamber. I'm coming off the high of Kofi Kingston damn near climbing the mountaintop, and that was one of the more emotional matches that I've watched in WWE in a really long time.
Yeah. This is one of those situations to where I hope they know what the hell they've done by doing this. Because I kept thinking, Kofi's one of those guys who is along with like Miz and got more of a push or whatever, and the Dolph Zigglers, or that era of Cody, and like the era of guys from that that late mid-card scene, and you see where Cody's gone, we see where Dolph Ziggler is, and we see where We see where Miz has been throughout and ups and downs of his career, and like, you know, Kofi compared to Dolph Ziggler and Miz, Kofi never got his opportunity, his chance. Like, I think the closest thing you really get to Cody is like him and his brother winning the tag titles and together against Shield, and possibly when he got screwed over by Sandow at that Money in the Bank, and we thought there was going to be a situation where he was going to, you know, win that briefcase for Sandow, but it didn't happen. We needed cannon fodder for John Cena. It was nice for Kofi to finally get and I mean, as a solo act, obviously he's had plenty of moments as a New Day, but that was something different. Like, this is something different, and this came out of nowhere, and it's bittersweet because like I'm so happy for him, but I'm also kind of still like, damn Ali, damn Mustafa. Like this like I can't necessarily say this could have been him because like there's all the emotional weight of
Kofi has so much more
being a person that it's the emotional weight of people have been around, have seen Kofi for like 11 years or whatever it's been, and like he's somebody that's been up and around the mid card for so long, and he's never been somebody that you would ever say you hated. He's not somebody you ever had a reason to turn on at any point in time or anything like that. So like he's a person that's kind of been like, you look at everybody on the roster for all these years, be like, you look around the fandom as far as like people that like all generally are like checks off the box for almost universally liked at the least, right? He's he's that guy. He's up there hot. So him getting these last 5 days, like you can see how this happened, right?
Yep.
So it wouldn't have been the same thing as the Ali thing, because it's still a newer act. And he's still like he would have got over huge, but he wouldn't have gotten over like this. And I mean, they're gonna have to make a decision. Like, and I hope they know what they've gotten themselves into, because after Tuesday and after tonight, like he needs to be the challenger at WrestleMania.
Yeah. And looking at where Kofi's been throughout his whole career, as you mentioned, he's just been this respected guy for all these years, never really got his chance, and then literally called into action, pulled off the bench, and he just produces in what I'm calling the greatest, like the new best Elimination Chamber match ever. Like this, like that last sequence, it just felt like the weight of everything. And I'm not going to run away from this at all. Like, there's only been one black WWE champion, and it felt like we were real close to number 2.
Let's clarification for people that are going to get inside their white fragility. No, man, like this. He's absolutely right. Like, and don't give me no bullshit about Booker T or Mark Henry in the heavyweight title. But that was always the secondary. That was always the second title. The same way that the WWE title right now is the secondary title. Like, simply talking about Vince McMahon's daddy's belt.
Yeah,
it has always been like The Rock is the only person. Is the only person of African descent to have that belt, so we can go from there. So yeah, sorry about that. I just wanted to get people to be out here. What about these nuts?
Yes.
So go ahead.
And like when Kofi was standing on the top of the chamber, it just felt like this is the plight. And this might be a little bit deep. Maybe I'm thinking about it a little bit too hard and reaching for something that ain't there, but it hit me and it hit a lot of people across, you know, our friends. Shout out to Rob, and he was texting us. It was like tears, you know, watching what Kofi did. It was like when he jumped off, it was like I knew he was gonna miss. Like the whole he's destined to miss. Like of course he can't be the man. Like in this fucking world, like that's what it felt like. It was like the plight of the black male experience in America, and it was like you jump and you don't know what's on the other side. It could be something or it could be nothing. And unfortunately for Kofi, it was nothing, but you couldn't tell that arena that. And when the New Day ran in at the end, it was just such a phenomenal moment. And I'm going to watch that again before I go to sleep tonight. And there are only, us watching wrestling right now, we're so deep into it. We know so much about what goes on backstage. We know so much about how these guys' careers like play out. And we tend to, we root for obviously the people that we're drawn to, right? But sometimes there's just something that happens in a match where you just feel like, yo, I'm about to just commit here, and I don't care what's going on. They had an opportunity. I was joking around saying, make a star, you cowards, like just put the belt on them. But this was just a perfect story. I don't know, like, even necessarily how I would drop a rating on that. Like, for me, that's the best match that's happened in WWE on the main roster this year. It's like, I don't know how to describe like how excellent that ending was. And Daniel Bryan, of course, has been excellent these last 5 days in making Kofi Kingston a main event guy now.
I mean, honestly, you can make an argument that aside from the Royal Rumble match, which turned out to be a disappointment, like ever since he turned heel, at least in the ring, or let's phrase it, ever since like he started having matches with like Andrade in the after SummerSlam, and then going into the Bryan stuff, the style stuff, like he's back to like wrestling at the quality of like Daniel Bryan, back when he was in the peak of the run, except like he had a heel turn and now he's a top heel. But like he like all the in-ring excellence is just there. It's like it's amazing how much rust he's knocked off since SummerSlam, when people were writing him off, and now he's back to being regular old Daniel Bryan again. But yeah, like I mentioned to you off air, that now Kofi, like, he gave Kofi a lot in this thing, like to get him all the way over. Like it would have been enough if he had just hit that knee the first time and pinned him right there, and that would been perfectly fine. But once Kofi kicks out, like that has been one of the more protected finishers in the entire company. Quiet as it's kept, like ever since he started doing the bicycle knee at SummerSlam 13. Like only people that have kicked out of it now at this point are Roman Reigns at Fastlane 2015, Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series last year, and now Kofi. Like this thing, it's one of that. I mean, this thing is where we are now with him. And he got him over huge, and it just kept building and building and building, and like you just see it, like, oh yeah, we forget that, like, dang up, these are two geniuses, like have their PhD in wrestling years, and had them years ago, and they're in the ring together. But the thing is, like, you just kind of forget that, like, Kofi used to be one of the very best, like, in-ring performers or TV match guys in this generation, because he's been doing so much of the tag team goofiness or whatever else, and doing great stuff with the New Day at times too, or a lot of time. But like, as you said it, like for him to just knock the dust off. Oh, hey Kofi, you haven't done. You only had like maybe 20 singles matches over the last 4 years. Can you go an hour? Yeah, okay, Vince, I got you. and then this is like, you kind of forget that they do what, like exactly how Xavier and Big E have been putting it. Like, this dude has been a legend, is a living legend, and you haven't really slept on it for so long. And it's like, you look up and you look back, he's like, yeah, kind of is a legend, kind of, yeah. Yeah,
I love the joke you made. Kofi Kingston is better than Jay White. We'll get to that later, but yeah, and
ain't nobody look. Jay White ain't made nobody feel like that not one time.
Yeah, Kofi Kingston, he eliminated Randy Orton. I really enjoyed that, and I felt like this match was the story of Kofi Kingston. It was like I had to put away this demon that has literally haunted my career ever since. It was like, man, you were in there with Randy Orton, and one way or another, Kofi quote unquote blew it or whatever, right? And Randy Orton was being, Randy Orton, and essentially killed his main event push dead in the tracks. And he finally came back, got rid of Orton. It was such a beautiful match. Like, and Kenny Omega likes to talk about the beauty of professional wrestling. Well, that was it in this match. So Daniel Bryan retains. Like, I don't know where they go from here. Like, I hope that we can get the New Day like all the way back up. Sir Sam wrote a great column advocating for the New Day. Being a part of the WrestleMania, whatever member, being a part of the WrestleMania title match. I don't see why not. That we've talked for months on this show about the SmackDown babyfaces being in fucking turmoil, and they backdoor themselves into a guy that has all the credibility in the world to be a main eventer. He's just never been given a chance. Right.
Yeah, and the crazy part about it is, you look at what was laid out, and if you assume, and we'll find out eventually. But if you assume that everything that just came to Kofi was what was meant for Mustafa Ali, they basically knocked out the park. What their plan was to get Ali over, except it ain't Ali, it's another guy. So I don't know where they go from here. I mean, maybe I'm assuming if I were them, I would have them do a match to determine Ali, he missed a spot. Kofi, so you make it where you come out Tuesday or whatever. However you do whatever else, you make it to where it's Kofi versus Ali. The winner gets Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania or at Fastlane or whatever else, or they have a match at Fastlane to determine who goes to WrestleMania, whatever. And then you go from there, and then you work on that. And if I were them, I go with Kofi, and then I move Mustafa on to Joe or whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. But still build him. You're still working on building him, and it's going. You're gonna have to occupy him with something else to do right now. But right now, he's gonna be on the back burner from now until after WrestleMania, because it needs to be Kofi versus Bryan at WrestleMania somehow, some way, or Fastlane, something preferably at WrestleMania though.
Yeah,
I
want it.
Period.
I want it.
Period.
And
yeah,
I want Kofi to win the belt. This is non-negotiable at this point, and it's I never thought I would have said this. Yeah, man, we need this.
I how do I say this? I don't know. I'm not as. We'll see where this goes as far as where they decide to take it, and maybe try to further heat it up. Because you look at what they're doing with Becky, and it's outside of maybe two things, outside of two things, I think are things where she could somehow. I know people are gonna be this sounds crazy, but she could even be as over as she is after she beat the hell out of Ronda and Charlotte. And I'm not sure we'll get to that. I'm just gonna leave that short here. But she could still somehow be. She could still be more over than she actually is right now, which is very fucking over. And the same thing with the Kofi thing is, if they keep building this or whatever, take some care with it. And Bryan's the right heel for this person, because Bryan is utterly beatable, and he's not a cool heel either. He could definitely be somebody where beat him, give Kofi the belt, and go from there. Where you set up another heel or whatever else, or somebody else to take it, make him a short-term champion. But the way he has people behind him right now, you can't say he doesn't move merch or no shit like that. The New Day have moved merch for years, so there's no excuse other than to not do it, because you don't want to take the layup because you have plans. And my question is, what the fuck are your plans with Daniel Bryan anyway? Right. So it doesn't like you have anything. It doesn't like you have really anything down. It looked like the plan was for him to challenge Ali, and he just beats Ali because Ali and it says Ali to go through more of the roster, and then eventually get another title opportunity months down the line. I say title opportunity, WWE speak. A title shot months down the line, half a year down the line, so and then and go through the roster to get to that potential place again. But Kofi's already somebody that has credibility, so you can just go with it right now.
And that's been the thing with Daniel Bryan is where the fuck has his WrestleMania plan been? Why has this not become public? Why? Because they haven't had one, James. That's why. Right. They haven't had one.
And then it just can't. And then due to sheer fucking luck, and then just it's dropped off on their doorstep right there perfectly. It was there the whole time, underneath our noses. We didn't even realize it.
And
because he was a tag guy.
Yeah. One thing we did realize though, James, is Braun Strowman is never he will never fucking be the same again, and we've documented his slow descent in real time. And perhaps he gets no lower than doing a job for Baron Corbin, regardless of how the circumstances happen. Baron Corbin defeated Braun Strowman. Yes, y'all heard that correct. In a no DQ match with the help of the ratings killing team of Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley. And they hit him with a Shield powerbomb through 2 tables off of the stair steps inside the middle of the ring. They have birthed Braun Strowman. They held him up. Then they just started like chipping away, essentially, like cutting at him like he's a bonsai tree or something. Like, and it's just like, what did he do to y'all?
I don't know, man. It was a sad day. like. You look at all of the moments on this show, and this is proof that like all the heat they get. If this is proof that like all the heat, like none of that shit was worth it that they've done over the years when they have these mediocre cards or these cards that like are okay, but like they just lit it with heat, and then they wonder why like people are upset with them. Like wrestling wise, inside the ring, like the bell to bell product, this was not a good show.
Right.
But you gave the crowd the results that they wanted. And what do you know? It turned out to be a really good show, and the crowd was involved and throughout the whole entire thing. And they got a little tired after Becky blew the roof off the damn stadium, beating the hell out of Charlotte and Becky. But outside of that, everyone's into the show. And then you go out there and they had a match that you knew wasn't going to be good. And then they went out there and did exactly what you thought they were going to do. Like, McIntyre's going to come out, but not only did McIntyre come out, Lashley brought his ass out. And it's so weird because Braun Strowman makes a save for Angle and Finn on Monday. That was 6 days ago. But then when Braun Strowman getting his ass whooped, ain't no friends.
Ain't none. Bruh. So you said something. So they took Braun Strowman out of the match with Brock Lesnar last month because they didn't want to beat him.
Correct.
Their answer to this was to have him now lose to Baron Corbin.
Yes. We don't want to beat him with Brock. We don't want to have Brock Lesnar beat Braun because it will damage him. So next month we'll go out there and we'll beat him with Baron fucking Corbin, a dude that came out there and got no pop whatsoever when he came out. No boos, no cheers, just crickets.
Boy.
A dude that when he was lording over the show in early or late December, he was cratering the ratings. So they had to fire and blame the bad writing of the show on him as a character. And he just goes over Braun's throat. And okay, all right, fine. Like, if that's what you want to call it, as far as protection, all right. He may as well not even water rubber then. He may as well have went wrong. You talking about protection? What protection?
Yeah. They've beat this guy down. They like, he's definitely going to be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Like, I don't see him in a match at WrestleMania, and don't ever get over by trying to be the best. That it just doesn't work. The Women's Championship, Ronda Rousey defeated Ruby Riott in minutes after some stalling by Ruby Riott. They didn't make her look serious at all. They barely wasted any TV time building it up. The whole build of this was Charlotte and Becky. So when Ruby got in the ring, they might as well have not even given her an entrance. She looked like such a geek and got destroyed. And Ronda came out dressed as Sonya Blade, which I actually thought was kind of cool.
No. She came out dressed as Sonya Blade from the Street Fighter movie. The movie. Not the video game, the movie.
Yeah. Well, you know, the deal that with Ronda, right?
Yeah, I know.
She's the voice for Sonya Blade in the new game.
Yeah, in the video game, not the movie.
So, yeah, man, y'all already know what it is. Ronda hit her with the arm bar and got her the fuck out of there quick. But Charlotte came out, and she cut a promo before that and said, life's good when you're Charlotte, all this stuff, bragging about Becky Lynch. And they showed her wearing Becky out with a chair at a house show. Charlotte went and sat ringside during all this. And then all of a sudden, Becky Lynch pulled up on the crutches, walking through the crowd, like had the reverse Bruce Lee outfit on. So instead of the all yellow outfit with the black stripes, she had the all black with some yellow stripes on. She got in the ring, and the fans like were chanting essentially, and they broke into a big Becky chant. All three of them were standing there. The fans were chanting, "She's the man." It was amazing. And then all of a sudden, Becky whooped that ass when she looked at Charlotte and just started killing her with the crutch. Rousey was just watching.
Hold on. You're underselling this moment. Becky is rolling in the ring, and she looks like completely toast. Like she shouldn't be out there. She's struggling to like, as if like she couldn't like actually put any weight on that leg whatsoever in these crutches. So then it's such a struggle. It's such a struggle for her to get into the ring. It's such a jerk and laughing at her, and you know. So she takes it as she's basically damaged goods. Like she's basically a deer with a broke leg, and she's a lion. So she has no reason to fear this deer. And then all of a sudden, that deer rear and wrapped it around that fucking lion's shoulders and legs. It was just the greatest moment. So yeah, you can go from there. I just had to fill in on like she got caught slipping. She thought it was sweet.
Thought it was a game.
Not.
Thought it was a game.
Yeah.
And
hey, this is a sweet lick. Well, this is the wrong place, man.
Yes. Caught them lacking, essentially.
Yes.
So Becky, she offered Ronda the other crutch, and all of a sudden, Ronda out here inexperienced, trust this woman, and then Becky goes across the back of her head and then hits her in the face with the with the crutch.
Literally upside her head.
Yes.
Leaking.
Yes.
Now you're leaking.
Yep. Now you're leaking. Fucking around, playing with it. Whole crowd goes nuts. Big Becky chants, but on commentary it was weird. They were like Michael Cole was like admonishing Becky for this whole thing, and Graves was behind Becky. So it was like, hold on, y'all better not be trying to cast her as the heel again.
I mean, if they want to go for that, God bless them. like if that's what they want to do, then I suggest they go with God, because that ain't gonna be it.
Yeah.
like her beating out Ronda and Charlotte and the McMahons, that ain't gonna turn you heel. It's just not.
Like on this whole thing, when I watched this segment, it felt like Ronda's the throw-in here, not Charlotte.
What I felt like while I watched it was, I didn't feel that way at all. I'm curious. Why do you feel that way?
Just like I don't see what Ronda's like actually bringing to the program. Like she's not bringing the talking. She's not bringing the any of the emotion behind the match. It's like everyone wants to see Becky whoop someone's ass, and then Charlotte's the person everyone's mad at. So really, what are you, Ronda?
Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, I would go the night after Royal Rumble, as far as like the talking part, and like that was just there. Charlotte is there, and she is the wet blanket that's thrown upon this party, and people are upset with her or the company / her because of her assertion in this thing. When you look down card, title gonna need a title contender or someone to fight for the belt. Like it helps for her to go down card to help out the rest of the card, and also like there was a spot for Charlotte in this match from a storytelling perspective, because all three of them have done stuff to hate each other for a reason for them to all hate each other's guts, but they have done absolutely jack shit to explain why Ronda should hate Charlotte and why Charlotte should hate Ronda. They just threw her in there because, well, some storyline said that they just thrown her in there because she is the now we talk about the reason why, like, Kevin Durant when he was young, before he went to when he was still OKC, how, and also Derrick Rose, how a lot of the goodwill they had early in their careers by being the ancestor of LeBron after LeBron went to Miami.
Yeah.
And also, like, another example is like RG3 being the anti-Cam Newton, right? Well, it's the opposite effect of we love Becky, we love Becky to death, and all Charlotte is doing is playing the anti-Becky, so because of that, she's getting boos. Like, there's nothing there. Becky's being the piss out of Charlotte for 5 months. Right,
and like you shouldn't even be here. Like,
right, you have no stand there. You don't have a title. You lost your last title shot. You've done nothing but lose in every big match you've been in for the past, or not lose, but either you lost or you failed to win in every big match you've been in for the past 5 months. You should be on the sideline. Like, if wins and losses actually matter, Charlotte has no right to be in this whatsoever. And also, people also peep that as well. So I was thinking about this after watching her, Charlotte wear another ass whooping from Becky, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to be a wreck in like 8-10 years, or 6 to 10 years, when Becky goes in the Hall of Fame and Sasha is presenting her, and Becky goes in the Hall of Fame, and then she gets to Charlotte, and Charlotte starts boohoo crying about, like, talking about how all the ass women she's worn to get Becky over to this point, and then they cut the Charlotte in the camp, sitting in the sideline, and she's always a wreck because she's Ric Flair's daughter, so of course she's a damn wreck. Like, I'm gonna be a wreck watching all that, because Charlotte, you say what you want to about, you know, her being to this, people upset with her right now. Charlotte has done nothing but kill herself to get Becky. I feel like that's another reason why people are, you know, add to the thing. My thing is, like, look, Charlotte has done a lot of work to get this fucking woman over, so it would be a pro for her match as well and get some notarization after this whole thing to try to go on with her career after this. So that's why I don't care one way or the other what they do as far as singles match or triple threat. But yeah, man, but as far as Ronda thing, like, I get where you're at, because, like, ever since they did the face-to-face thing, they have more or less, like, completely stepped away from that dynamic between Ronda and Becky, and have thrown Charlotte in there to basically soak up all the boos that Ronda was
right and
going to. We hear all the talk about Ronda doesn't want to get booed. Can it?
One more time, James, because you kind of like broke up in the middle of that.
Oh, you know, like, Ronda does not like getting booed, even if it's on purpose or whatever. But when they did the face-to-face thing and, like, the dynamic turn, and then the crowd was clearly beat pro Becky, so therefore anti Ronda. Yeah, do you really think that's the main, or how much of a fact do you think it is that, like, Ronda / WWE had looked up and was like, we don't want Ronda getting booed at all whatsoever, so we're going to ask Charlotte to take all the heat?
I think this was always the plan. It was always going to be a three-way,
okay.
And they decided against the hotter thing due to plans. Now, do I identify with that logic of them not wanting Ronda to get booed? Of course I do, because why would they want Ronda Rousey to get booed? Like, Ronda never handles, like, getting booed well. Like,
the thing for me is that I just don't get is if it is true that she's going to go away in the spring, right, for however long, once she comes back, the booing will be gone. So you get through this run, you get booed for 10 weeks, and then you're done. And you go home, and you come back in a year or a year and a half or 2 years, and you're gonna get cheered again. So who gives a shit?
I don't.
Yeah. Like, are they really? Do you think they're not even thinking about that part? But, like,
I don't think they're thinking about that part. They're just,
every single time every time there is a gigantic star, and they get booed, the second they leave for whatever reason to come back, they get the "we missed you" pop.
See, I don't even think they're thinking about that. They're just like, we have this objective, and this is what it is. They've barely put Ronda in front of the live audience since that Becky thing. They've had her come out there and stand with the title. They've had her do all backstage monologues face to face with people. They haven't handed her the mic. It's just like, she's just here, like she's just here.
Got a point. Now, if they come out here fucking tomorrow on Tuesday with Charlotte and Ronda and they have a match,
Ronda gonna cut the real champion promo.
You do that shit with you do that shit with Ronda every single week where, I have a match on pay-per-view and then I have a match the next night. If they tomorrow, or at least better be an excuse where like Vince or Stephanie or Hunter basically walk out and say, nope, you're not doing this. Nope, I don't give a damn what you're doing. You're not in no condition to compete. You're not going to fuck about a WrestleMania match. You just had a match, whatever else. You're not going to do it. If either one have a match, I'm going to flip a fucking lid because it'll be even worse the kendo stick beat down at Survivor Series. It'd be even worse. She wrapped crutches around these women's bodies. Like, do I need to explain myself other than that?
I'm interested to see where Becky ends up in the fallout of this because I don't like the language
They're probably going
to
fire her. They're probably going to quote unquote fire her.
I don't like the language they used on commentary, so we'll see where this is going.
What I'm assuming is they're saying that she's suspended. She's took it over the line. She's already suspended. She should be here, and she hurt these women severely. I'm assuming tomorrow they come out and they fire her. That's what I'm assuming.
It could happen.
And then she has to fight her way back into not being fired and then get unsuspended and then get back into her match. Like she has to do three things.
So we got a new Intercontinental Champion. Finn Balor defeated Bobby Lashley and the money-tistic Lio Rush. And
no, I thought it was money-istic.
No, money-tistic.
Is money-tistic? Okay.
Yes. And yeah, so this is you beat the manager for the Intercontinental Championship. What? If this ain't some Vince Russo ass shit, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it was not a good match.
Lashley ended up turning on Rush at the end, or just did a move to him. I wonder if there's some type of heat on Lio Rush for some, or this is a backstage thing, or where they're going with this. Because look, Lashley was dead in the water before they put him with Lio Rush. Imagine if they're gonna separate him now. Good God! So
yeah, well, what I think they're doing is they're separating him from. They're getting rid of Leo so they can actually do this fucking faction, this shitty faction that they have.
Oh my God!
And
horrible.
Good luck.
Team Sleep. Team Boring. Team Charisma Vacuum. Team.
Yeah, and like when the thing about it is like during that match, the only good parts of the match for the match or the part when Leo was in.
Yeah. So.
So, their idea is to get rid of the part of the act for Lashley that talks and the part of the act that's actually entertaining. So, all right. Best of luck. Like, how long is this contract? Do they don't know?
No one knows, but I don't think AEW will be trying to reach out to Bobby Lashley. So,
no.
Finn Balor, we're getting a lot of good booking tonight with with the so-called AEW effect. Brian Alvarez tweeted out they don't want anyone leaving. So we saw the Usos win championships, saw Balor get a championship, Sasha and Bayley won championships. We'll get to that in a moment, but Balor getting the IC title. I think it's a good look for him, and
long overdue, and something he's fought for like last year around this time he was in the Intercontinental title picture. He never won it, so it's nice to see like a year later he actually clears that hurdle,
bro.
And especially after, it makes sense that a person that had the Universal Champion on the fucking ropes, the brand's top belt on the rope, just a month ago, that he gets put into a shot for the second belt, and he ends up winning it because he put the top guy on the ropes. Makes sense.
Yeah. And Finn Balor has been involved in the IC title race since about May of 2017, actually. I think there was a time when you weren't paying attention to wrestling at the moment, like you were on one of the post-WrestleMania deals, and they actually had the match that they did at WrestleMania 34 on Monday Night Raw as a triple threat, and it was 22 minutes, and I believe it was either for the Intercontinental Championship or it was a number one contenders match, and that was really good. I think it was better than the WrestleMania match, but Balor, Rollins, and Miz were involved in that, and it's good to see Balor finally get something, like, or else he was gonna have to like start answering questions like, bruh, when's your contract up? So they're gonna have another match, and it's gonna be a singles match, and then like Balor has to beat him, right? I hope.
And then like what? So after this Lashley, my guess what I'm asking is, can we disperse of Lashley from Finn Balor and go into WrestleMania with Balor versus a new challenger? Can we do that, please?
We might be able to, because I think all those other guys might be stuck in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Maybe Finn Balor is too, but I think you should give Finn Balor a match and let him defend the belt.
I do too, especially if there's going to be less crap at the top of the card.
Yeah, the Usos won the tag team championships. I was very happy about this. Fuck 12. Jimmy Uso squared off with the cops over the weekend and won the championship. That man's a hero out here. Jimmy Uso is above the law. Can't be stopped.
Over.
Yeah, and these guys took the belts off the atrocious Shane McMahon Miz team, and it's good to see the Usos getting rewarded here. You're never going to get me upset about them putting the belts on the Usos. I saw some jackass tweet. When are we going to talk about when the Usos are over pushed? I was like, I quote tweeted and ducked on them. Bitch, never. Like,
what are you talking about? Like, I mean, I guess you could argue that over pushed because they have always been either in the title picture or they always either been contending or fighting for contendership, and then you have the backdrop of a team like Gallows and Anderson or a team like Sanity. But outside of that, like, I mean, it's only 5 teams in the division. These things going for a whole ass year. Like, you're going obviously, and also, so like technically they are over pushed, but like, they're not like, they're not like they're Jinder Hall or some shit like that. Like, and also like they're over, so shit doesn't matter. Like, this isn't what's the word? Like, this isn't a participation trophy shit. Like, you have to get to a certain level to actually be somebody that should be in a slot. And the Usos are in the New Day, in the Bar, in Miz and Shane. Mostly Miz because of the work he's done over the past 2 years. There are people that deserve to be in these certain slots. Now, does that mean that Anderson and Gallows should never get a shot? No, absolutely not. They should actually be in the title run. They should be beating like the Bar right now or whoever else is not in the hunt. Or they, now that we have Nakamura and Rusev as a team, like they're probably going to run. But it is what it is.
You know what that's setting up to be? That we putting all these dopey tag teams together for WrestleMania, and they can all have a clusterfuck match together.
I mean, okay, so what I would like to see most out of anything is if they did a Miz and Sheamus match. I'm sorry, Miz and Shane match, versus all the ace all the top tag teams in SmackDown. So the Usos, the New Day, the Bar, and they go out there and they have a 4-way TLC match at WrestleMania. Like, I thought, in that way you can minimize Shane, and you can go out there and have a great match, and you can also say, the Usos got the real moment. It wasn't no fucking 5-minute squash match by the Bludgeon Brothers, and you go from there, and it'll be it'll be a match that you can just basically set it there. You have all the fact that they've been feuding with each other for a whole ass year, and the New Day and the Usos even longer, and you can just set it there. And you be like, look, I don't know what's gonna happen with this card, but with anyone else or anything, I know that match is gonna be good, and people will tune in for that one, right?
Right.
Now watch them do some other shit, but whatever.
One thing I forgot
it's there for the taking.
One thing I forgot to mention at the top of the show, it felt good to see the WWE Championship back in the main event where it belongs. After a whole ass year that has been buried in the mid card and everywhere else.
Was Fastlane last time it was the main event?
Yes, and that was because it was a SmackDown only show.
Wow.
And the beginning match, Sasha Banks and Bayley are your first ever WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. So, I was happy to see this result. I thought they were going to go for the bullshit to make them to have Nia and Tamina.
Always got to send a bitch chasing.
Yep, always got to send a bitch on this fucking journey that might not be nothing on the other side, or that would be at the WrestleMania pre-show with a half-empty building. I'm glad they didn't do that. They came in first and they were the match. There was a long period in the middle of this match where it was not good. By the time we got down to the very end, I thought they did a really good job actually with Mandy and Sonya, and I kind of believed like some of the near falls at the end. I was like, oh man, I hope they don't beat Sasha. And then Sasha kicks out of her finish, and she applies a new version of the bank statement. Hopefully she uses that going forward. But it was good to see Sasha and Bayley, 4 horsewomen, bringing in some championships like normal, being on top where they should be.
Hey, bro. So are we ready to fully, like, I mean, there's still time. You let me know. But are you ready? Are you ready to hop on the bandwagon with me that Sonya is Sean? Are you ready yet? Are you there yet?
I mean, I don't really look at either of them like like one's necessarily better than the other.
One is better than the other one. That's where I'm getting at on that one. Like, I'm not saying that one's incompetent and one is. I'm saying that like they seem to both be competent, but I think one's better than the other one, and I think they're pushing the wrong one. Yellow hair. That's where I'm at on that.
Speaking of yellow hair, she like started or ended the match with way less of the yellow hair in than she came out with. So I saw someone put that out there. I thought that was kind of funny, but I would probably give this one about a 3.5. And the match was not a disaster, and credit to them for figuring that out.
I mean, okay, so.
No, we thought this thing could be like Elimination Chamber Intercontinental Title 2015 level.
It wasn't. It was
not that.
Okay, no. It was not a disaster. But yeah, let me start off there. I agree with you. It wasn't a disaster. Was it good? I don't know. We got to talk about like the way they treat the Iconics. Like,
bro, I didn't believe them as like tough people at all. Like when they were doing their run of beating all the girls up, I was like, I don't believe this.
Whole run, the Iconics whole run, it felt like as if like this was a spot show, and they just threw in 2 people that came fresh out of a like training session, out of a training class. Like they just did 6 weeks with Lance or with like Sumi Sakai and Cheeseburger or somebody, and they just got thrust out there to go work. It's like I don't get it. Like, how are they on the main roster? I mean, I know how they're on the main roster, but how are they on the main roster? Like, they're not. They're in the words of the great T.I., they're substandard. Substandard. It just was not.
The Iconics matches are wrestled under substandard conditions.
Yeah. And then but all the other teams, I mean Nia and Tamina, they weren't good either. But Living Sarah, like they were good. This was a pleasant surprise. Most people were better but there were parts in this match like with like the Samoan team and the Australian team that just like hurt the match at points. Like not running just. Can we talk about that angle of how Nia ran through the fucking thing?
She ate that shit. But like She didn't even look like she was attacking Bayley.
That's my point. It looks running a straight line through this thing when Bayley is like hanging off the ropes or hanging off the post. And then it wasn't like Bayley moved out the way. She stepped right the fuck there, stationary, as Nia just decided, I'm just going to run straight through this thing as opposed to attack my opponent. Why? I don't know.
Maybe she thought the camera cuts would save her. All right, we're back. We had some difficulties. I was saying maybe Nia thought the camera cuts were going to save her.
Dude, if that's the case, then like this is like the biggest disservice to a wrestler since I guess Ibushi and Ospreay in that backflip mid-kick deal at Wrestle Kingdom this year. It was like, what the fuck are y'all like? What are you doing, Ospreay? Have you lost your mind?
Yeah.
It was bad, and I don't even know how Cameron would have fixed it because you clearly see Bayley like hang. I mean, all throughout the match, you see them have the gigantic space, or not gigantic space, but like there's like 2 feet of space between the pod and the ring post, and you see Bayley hugged up on the ropes against the ring post on the outside. So if we're to run through, you're just like, even if they got a straight on from the hard cam and you can't see like the depth and the difference, you still know that like Bayley's hugged up against the ring post. So she clearly just ran right past her as opposed to, and then Bayley didn't even move. So it's like, I thought that at a certain point, I thought that what I saw, because you saw Sasha coming towards Bayley. I thought what was going to happen was that Sasha was going to drag her through the ropes to save her, and she's going to run through the post or something. And then she goes through the thing. I'm like, how, sis? How? How does that? My mind was just boggled. And then like, that is an iffy way to get her the fuck out of there to protect her. She's still a dumbass for running through the thing, but like it still protects her as like the Strowman-esque like banana peel deal. And then like they just pin Tamina because Tamina's the geek. Like Tamina is the Yano. She's there to take all the pinfalls.
Pin eater, as we say. But yeah, man, it felt good seeing after all the bad booking, all the burials, all the misdirection, all them being away from the spotlight, to see them get the championships. Hopefully they are allowed to do something cool with it. Maybe they can defend those titles against Io and Kyrie at some point. Maybe they can pretty much open it up, travel brand to brand. Like, Sasha says she wants to do all this cool shit, so let her. It's like, let these belts, like, they don't have to be literally them defending against the Riot Squad 30 times over the next year. This can be whatever they want to make it. As cool as they want to make those belts, they can make them. But I feel, hopefully they do it. So I won't even cast what I think they'll do yet. Hopefully they just, do something good with it.
Yeah, there's the Bellas. There's potential of the Bellas, of course. I remember when they were doing those terrible segments with Alexa Bliss, because all she does is have terrible segments now. They mentioned that like it would be cool to defend the title, that they have tag titles and then defend them against Trish and Lita. So that's always at play because they spoken into existence. So we'll see. Like I think that obviously if you ask me what I'm rooting for Kyrie and Io to go out there. But I don't think that's what we'll get. I think that might be too soon. And also like Io might end up getting a title shot at the next takeover.
Right.
So so we'll see.
Can we have Sasha and Bayley just go down to NXT Takeover to defend the belts? Can we put that in the air?
I mean, if they're going to be roving champions, they can rove their ass back to Full Sail.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a steadfast rule that like I won't go to any NXT house shows in this area until they make Johnny Gargano the NXT champion. However, that ain't got shit to do with the taping. I will take my ass to the full set to go see Sasha and Bayley versus Io and Kyrie in a heartbeat. So
yeah.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah. Overall, Elimination Chamber, I think, for the matches that didn't produce on the higher end scale, they got the winners right in most cases, except the Strowman thing.
Yeah, honestly, except for one.
And I really enjoyed the main event a lot. I would probably go like 4.75 or something like that. And it was just like, that was a real special performance by Kofi, and I loved how the New Day ran in at the end. I'm glad they weren't tempted to do some bullshit where Big E and Xavier jump him after the match or something. Like, I would have just been gutted had they done some shit like that.
Or Luke Harper comes from out of the chamber where it's like, oh no, like they didn't do any of that. You know, any of the classic Vince McMahon tropes. They let one go out there and let all 6 of them go out there and have a well wrestled match for the top prize on the brand. And it was, and people had emotional, or people were living and dying with one guy, and they ran with that throughout the match, and it was well wrestled throughout, and it escalated, and it kept going higher and higher. It kept peaking. So it's a great match. It's going to be in a match of the year contender for the main roster, definitely.
Yeah. You want to talk about this Jay White thing real quick before we get up out of here?
What about Jay White?
He won the IWGP championship this past week, James.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked since then. Yeah, I kind of alluded to it on the LOP show, so I must think. All right, you can talk about it if you want to. What you want? What's up? What's on your mind?
Oh man, so Jay White won the IWGP championship from Hiroshi Tanahashi at the new beginning. Not in a classic match, not in a match of the year candidate.
Correct.
Not in a match that will have people talking about it. Just a match.
Correct. Oh, it was a very good match, but the bulk of the reason why the match was it was on the work of Tanahashi just being, perhaps the greatest seller of all time. Like he's just fantastic, and he busts his ass. Like, I was watching a match, and it felt like, and I'm like, Tanahashi was selling, it's almost like he was like, this is like his last match, like it's a retirement match, and he's on a hurt wheel, and he's like just fighting for his life. Like, that's the kind of like way he was selling this match. It was incredible. And like, the thing for me that like just gets me is, we in the era of New Japan that we like got into it. There was, there's Ibushi, there was Nakamura, there was Okada, Tanahashi, there was the rise of Omega, there's the rise of Naito and LIJ, and then you have people like Hiromu or whoever else that are along with that. And the way, like, the charisma and the emotion and feeling, and add Jericho to this too as well, Minoru Suzuki too, whatever, like, everything that is done in between the moves has a purpose. Like, it's not just on the level of everything done in the ring is for a reason. Every move done in the ring has a meaning, like the Bret Hart thing. Like, everything means something. Like, everything between that also works too. It's not just the notes on the music. It's also between the notes, between the beats. And there is something where I'm watching, like, I watch Ishii matches, or I watch whoever else, like, at the top of New Japan, and then I watch these big Jay White matches, and he's like, he keeps up with them wrestling wise, and like, he's not no bum. He's not. I wouldn't even say he's just a good worker. He's a very good worker, but the stuff between and being able to translate to where you watch these matches between all these great guys from the past, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it's been, 4 years. And the emotion translate, you feel what they feel, you see what you even recognize what they're thinking. That even happens at WWE. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, I've been like, how many times I've loved Kevin Owens matches because, like, something will happen and something will fall into place, and like, he'll look at, like, Oh, I see a table on the floor. Oh, I see my opponent is hurt. Oh, I'm by the top rope. And then you see the gears going in his head and stuff like that. And that's just like, that's WWE. That's all the top guys and all the top promotions around the world. Like, they all have that, right? But Jay White, to be able to translate to where, like, someone that is in the nosebleed somewhere, not you sitting at home with HD television that can see through his hair and everything, from just 5 feet away, people from the nosebleeds can see and all that emotion translate. Charlotte crying and selling and being in agony, getting her ass whooped from Becky Lynch for the past 5 months. Same thing. But his doesn't do that. And for me, like, it bothers the fuck out of me because I'm like, where is this guy? I'll watch these matches and I'm like, where the fuck is this guy? Like, yes, he's there when it's time to do this, and this as far as the moves. But like, where is all of the stuff between the notes? Like, right? Like, he is, like, for me, it's almost like I'm watching a robot wrestle. And like, that's fine. Like, I have nothing to say about his wrestling ability in the ring as far as the moves and being in the right place at the right time. All that's there. But it drives me up a fucking wall when he's supposed to be playing this. I could deal with someone being arrogant. I could deal with someone being smug. I could deal with someone feeling like they're placed well above or whatever else, and I'm good with that. I can get into that character. And I even listened to some of his promos, and like his promos with what he's trying to do, like I get where he's trying to go for, and I'm more assured of on that end than the other stuff. But get these matches and he just washes off the fucking screen. Like it's like I'm watching Okada just wrestle just a soulless person. I'm watching Tanahashi put his damn heart and everything into this match, and he's just wrestling he's just wrestling a guy, and it's like I don't know anything other than say like he's just charisma. It's almost like the Tin Man. It's like they have this dude has no heart. They just put like he's from that. Imagine if Baron Corbin was a great wrestler, but with the moves or whatever else. Like
that's funny.
But nothing else translates as far as the emotion of else. And like I understand people are saying like it's a dry thing, whatever. It's like that dry shit is cool. However, like I can't get dry from outside of the first 5 rows of being in there. So and like you watch that match and like. The beginning of the match was he's working when he's in control and Tanahashi's doing all the selling in the world. The crowd's into it and they're living with and dying with Tanahashi. And then they start doing more trading back and forth or whatever else. And then they kind of get lost. And then it wasn't until Tanahashi fired up and slapped him that where they got back into the match. And it's like, see, that's shit we're talking about. Like that's the thing I'm talking about in these matches. Like. Nothing works unless it's the other guy that's the great person that can like you can feel all of the emotion all the way from 100 yards away. But Jay White ain't got that yet. At least not yet. I'm not saying it's not there. It won't get there eventually, but and maybe it's a thing that he'll pick up from experience, being with more veteran guys like Tanahashi. But like he got hot-shotted. There ain't no way around other than he got hot-shotted, and we'll see where this goes from here. But like. He got hot shot the most prestigious style of all professional wrestling. So good luck with that. Like
they've decided that
out of worse holes than this, but we'll see where this goes.
They weren't lying when they said it's a new era, and that's been the whole theme of this Jay White thing. And he's essentially the de facto Kenny Omega replacement in New Japan as a regular there, even though Omega's going to go back and it's probably not going to be the same as it was. It sucks that apparently the plan was Okada Omega 5 at Madison Square Garden now turns into a Jay White title defense, and that's just like I made the joke going from Jordan at North Carolina to Jerry Stackhouse at North Carolina. Yeah, the gang is the same, but this is a totally different thing. Like, so, and like, you know, just that standard in New Japan is just like, you know, I feel like some of the wind comes out of the sails with that for, you know, their plans to go into America. If they're, you know, going with Jay White for a long time, and I don't necessarily think that's the case. Like, this could be a thing where he's literally getting substituted in, and Okada still takes the belt off of him at Madison Square Garden and is back to greatness at the top like normal. And maybe they just feel like they want to try to make a star with a guy, which I can't begrudge the company for trying to make a star with somebody. But the thing is, it's like, he does not jump off the page to me, like, at all. Like, I don't feel a sense of, like, you know, him being spectacular at anything. It's just he's a dude he's a dude that came out of their dojo. And, you know, wrestling companies are partial to guys that go through their developmental systems. And we talked about this many times, why a lot of these pushes happen in WWE the way they do. Because they feel like they are investing in these people, and he's an investment. And it's not the most exciting thing in the world for me. Looking at someone that enjoys spectacular wrestling and, you know, just literally sport redefining wrestling. Like, once I start seeing all these 5-star and over 5-star matches for that belt for this long, you're not going to sell me that this is the same thing, like that this is as great. Like, it's not. Like,
yeah, I'm not writing him off because he's young or whatever else. Right?
You know who else is young, James?
Huh?
You know who else is young? A lot of guys.
No. What I'm saying is this, right? I'm not willing to write him off because he's not 30 yet, right? So he's gonna get plenty at bats. He's not a bum. He's not even just good. I think he's very good. The problem is, being very good in New Japan Pro Wrestling with
tough.
Have Naitos and Ibushis and Okadas and Tanahashis and, you know, and Ishis and all that, like, and Ospreys and whoever else and even Sabers. Like, nah, it's not. He's the top gaijin. It's like, who? If you tell me, like, he is the highest gaijin right now. He's a champion, but. You ask me where he should be. You ask most people where he should be in the pecking order based on merit. He'd be third, probably a distant third, right? So that's where we are, and like he's going to have to get better to live up to where they've slotted him, and
he's going to have all the opponents to do it.
Yeah, he's going to get all the opponents to do it. So you know, we get into speculation because pretty soon we gonna see.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be time to show improvement. I was saying this after I was pissed off because I didn't get the great Okada match that I thought was. I got a really good Okada match at Wrestle Kingdom. So,
doesn't that shit just burn you up? Like,
like we got it. Yeah, it's like we got a G1. I mean, look, we have the G1. We have these pay-per-views to get through. We have the MSG show. So. I mean, who knows if he comes over to do some ring honor tour? Who knows what they do? But like we'll know. Like we'll know by the time we get and we have the Dallas shows, whatever else. Like we'll know by the time we get to by the time we get through August, we'll know.
Yeah. Also, Chris Jericho had a really good interview on Wrestling Observer Radio that's highly recommended. He offered some unique thoughts on, you know, everything New Japan has done with their U.S. expansion going back to the first time they showed up, where he thinks they kind of, you know, shot short of what they could have been. And
they're also not putting out cards.
Yeah, and not putting out cards like till a week before, and it's just not going to work like that in this country. And
right.
The whole deal with them aiming low is like when you aim low, you become low. Like why like he said they should have just canceled the fucking shows. Like if they couldn't get the guys in with the visas, he said that you know, when they're doing these shows at the Globe, that shit looks low rent. Like just aim fucking higher. If you tell people it's important, it's gonna be important.
Okay, so I get what he means on that front, but at the same time, like, I'm not begrudging no promoter for not coming off, like, just a history of wrestling promotion or whatever else. I'm not begrudging no promoter for not for not refunding money, right? Like unless there was some type of
I think that was kind of more of a throw-in, but I think his overall point was like they should have always been coming a lot harder and a lot bigger buildings and making these things a bigger priority, because what they've essentially done is like,
well, I mean, but at least with the Charlotte, in the case of the Charlotte show, right? The Charlotte show, like those are going to be the B team shows anyway. That was going to be their quote unquote Largo loop that sent out to Charlotte. It just happened to sell out, but it didn't turn out even worse when they were like the visas didn't come through. Because I remember they had the A team was going to LA, right?
Yeah, or no, the A teamers were in Japan actually.
Okay, I knew they were somewhere besides that because they had to do something else.
Yep, and I think it's a really interesting listen to see. With the Omega interview and now Jericho's, like how these guys are perceiving like the management of New Japan and how valued they felt. And spoiler alert, it don't feel like they were really like with these guys. So and these guys look like they're still willing to work with New Japan, but there's a lot of like pride and ego in the way, and I guess that story that Meltzer put out the end of last year with there being unhappiness, we know where that came from now.
I mean, we always knew where it came from, though. It's like, well, what you think? Like
it's confirmed now.
Like, I mean, but serious. Like, do you think that? Did anyone think that like, for example, do you think anyone think that like Naito was talking to Fumi, and then Fumu was relaying what he heard from Naito to Jim Valley and Meltzer? No, we always knew that it was Kenny and whoever else that's involved that's an English speaker that's in that has a connection to Meltzer was relaying him that situation.
That's in the game.
And sure enough, that's the people that we all thought it was is exactly who it was. And I don't even say that it was compared to like some of the issues we hear about people on the roster when it comes to WWE, these were minor disagreements. Like we have people like they weren't even about their spots. It was like, look, y'all aren't being as ambitious trying to go overseas, and in Japan and in New Japan offices like, you might have a point, but we're going to do what we want to do, and then they're getting frustrated because they're not going full speed ahead, right? And like, like that's on them as a business to try to figure out how full force they want to go into a foreign marketplace. I mean, and honestly, if I was them, I wouldn't take it from some fucking wrestlers. As it's like, look, man, we're going to do what we're going to do and whatever. And maybe bit him on the ass that Kenny and Jericho left, but I think they'll be okay. And I don't think they're gonna, I don't think that them not being there right now is going to hurt them right now. Now, we'll see what happens when it comes to MSG as far as the resale market for their tickets.
That thing is collapsing.
Whether or not, I don't like. Look, they already sold what they're gonna sell, but I'm more or less as far as like the turnout for like Jay White versus whoever, if it's Jay White indeed, like if there's gonna be butts and seats for that. So we'll see on that. But like, I think eventually, like once that's over, the ROH show is over, the split show,
they're gonna have to reevaluate.
They have to reevaluate their whole relationship because they got to sell out Dallas, they got to sell out London, and like, look, they have Sabre, they have Ospreay, but I don't think that's gonna be enough.
Yeah. I know one place that they don't have to worry about selling out is Las Vegas, Double or Nothing, AEW. These dudes are selling tickets at an unprecedented rate for someone with no type of TV and everything else. And, it has thrown the internet, like the psychos, into a tailspin. I don't, know how anyone is spinning this as anything other than a success. Chris Jericho put out a great promo that he credited himself for all the deal. Yeah. He said it wasn't the fans, it wasn't any of these other fools on the card. He listed everyone from Omega to Britt Baker to Joey Janela, and he was just awesome. But they might need to aim higher as well. Like they have something right now that is moving people to part with their money at unprecedented rates.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing for me is I want to see what it looks like for this. When is the Jacksonville show? Is there like an idea when the Jacksonville show is?
Probably July.
Okay. I want to see where we are after the Jacksonville show, and then we'll go from there. Like, if they sell that out too, then like, look, maybe I need to look into doing a monthly big show, whatever. I mean, obviously we still don't even know what their TV is or whatever, but like if they're going to give, I mean, because obviously as far as their number of their fan base, like it's not nearly as big, but their fan base is clearly loyal as hell. And if you keep giving the loyal, super duper loyal fan base what they want and keep things fresh and don't do anything to jump the shark, then they'll be successful. And ultimately, all I really want is I want to watch as much good wrestling as possible. So if they can add to that, I'm glad. I hope they stay around. Yeah, I hope they stay around because, like, there are a lot of places that do good wrestling. But the thing is, like, there are so many things that make it feel like it's minor league or is not worth your time, even if it is good, to where you just kind of, keep it to the side of everyone else. Like, me and you last year, like, we love Slammiversary. And I know you've kept up and watching Impact, but like I've only watched like bits and pieces there ever since, right? So
I fell off at a certain point.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. Like there's so much product out there that is like you got to figure out a way to make it to where you become a priority. And I think AEW has a potential to actually become a priority as opposed to, the Lucha Undergrounds to come around or MLW. And, at different points, they've done good or great work. It's just, trying to figure out how to become a priority. And I think AEW actually has a chance to become a priority. WoW is another example of people doing good work, but, their whole situation is so fucked because you can't even get their new season up. You can't even go watch unless you watch it live, you're fucked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
man.
yeah, like Tessa became champion this week. Like I found out on Twitter.
Yeah. I think with AEW and selling out those tickets just at this astronomical rate, something special is happening, and they have at least like a couple years of like great matches like in them. So as Jericho was mentioning, also there was a really good Tony Khan interview with Jericho as well as Dave Meltzer. So it's going to keep rolling on and getting bigger. More news coming out week by week. But yeah, that's like if you're coming out here bending over backwards trying to say anything but to the contrary, you sound crazy. Like,
and the thing for me is, if you're a WWE fan, let's say you don't believe the WWE will change the way it books or whatever else because AEW people are upset. Okay, fine. At the least, if AEW is another viable option for people to go somewhere else besides WWE and be there, and then come back to WWE so they can clear up some of the bloated roster, then that alone is a win. Like, if you don't want to watch AEW, you don't. But them taking a number of people per year for a certain amount of time, and then they go there in their run and they come back, that helps to churn so you can keep these matchups fresh and they can come out with new ideas as opposed to seeing like, the perfect example is when people talk about Randy Orton and John Cena, how they wrestled 5,000 times or whatever else. Like, we don't have to, hopefully in a situation where we don't have to go through seeing a third Rollins versus Ambrose in terms after they've done nothing but excellence 2 times in a row, they just give you shit. Or, having to see AJ versus Daniel Bryan for the 4th time in like 4 months in big matches, right? So, or like that's the thing where it's another example why I thought like another reason why for people that talk about the whole Charlotte thing being added to the match